Pastors that are here, stop complaining about Japa. The hand of God is in that thing. Just make sure from your pulpit you feed them well, and then send them like arrows in the hand of a mighty man to go and take nations for Christ. Pastor Godman, one man from your church is good enough for one nation. Australia, New Zealand, Canada. All right? And let them go and set the nation on fire. We give glory to God for his goodness. Come and give the Lord a big hand.
Welcome back to the Moment of Truth and Enlightening class. You heard Bishop Wale encouraging pastors to keep sending people abroad. Don't listen to him. Oh. Look at them there. He's one of them that destroy Nigeria. Look at all of them there. Wale Adeboye, Oyedepo, and many in Daosa's place. So since they've been sending people forth everywhere in Nigeria for almost 50 years, they destroy everywhere. They send people forth everywhere in the UK. UK closed almost 500 churches that belong to Nigerian pastors. Now, they are mentioning Australia, France, blah, blah. They are going to destroy your life. Oh. Because those places, you will walk, you won't see members, and you'll be using your salary to be paying rent because they will not finance you. They are user and dump. They will use you, they will destroy your destiny. I met Wale in 1994 when he came to my church in Bethnal Green to preach. The Christ disciples, if you are watching, you know I'm telling the truth. If you see the list of things that he submitted to the church that he needed for his branch in London then, typewriter, printers, name it, all the office equipment. Since then, I'm like, why? That's what they do. Oh. They go everywhere, collecting from every dry head, every soft head, all kind of heads, just to make their own lives better. They have nothing to offer anybody. Oh. They litter everywhere in Nigeria. They destroy Nigeria. All those places he mentioned, they will send you there. They are going to destroy you. They send you to Spain because you have to use your name to register everything. They don't have anything to offer. Don't put your head. If you have qualification, go and look for job. Pastoring a church is a spiritual thing. It's a calling. It's not for everybody. The way these men are doing it, they are doing business. So they are Judas Iscariot of our time. They've made many parents childless in their old age. All this pastor you are seeing here. They are evil. And I want you to know God for yourself. Don't forget what is going on now about Abraham Daniels. I will put another one of his clips there because I can only do it bit by bit because of reused content claim. YouTube can only allow me few. So I help you put some facts together and listen to what he's saying. Learn from that. He was a skilled man. Instead of him to stand on his own, by now, it would have been better if he didn't join NHS to be doing all this evil. After over 10 years, he lost his marriage, he lost everything. Above all, he lost Christ. He never had Christ anyway. Because if you have Christ, you won't be mingling with any of these pastors. If you see their carcass, you just know where they belong. Wherever you see, you see Nathaniel, Darcy, all this nonsense. They are all caught so. Don't put your head there. Have pity on your parents. Don't make them sad. Don't make them childless. Stay tuned to the end, please.
Calls me 1 a.m., 2 a.m. You can call me Abraham. Where are you? I'll say, sir. Because we have this slogan, ministry is military. So if your senior pastor calls you, where are you? The answer is, where do you want me to be?
Interesting.
So you want me to be. So you're like, I want you to be here. You are there. You appear. You appear there. While I was there, I saw, as a pastor, people call you daddy.
Yeah.
And when someone calls me daddy and I don't have capacity to daddy the person, I become helpless. That is the problem. That is, I knew pastors, I knew folks that had to. I remember one time one of my friends called me and he said, "Oh, there's a new formula." I'm like, "What formula?" He's my colleague, pastor.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you know that this other pastor, he pays his tithe directly to Dr. Paul?" I said, "Oh, directly? We as pastors, you pay your tithe, drop it in the offering, indicate tithe, and he's separated." He said, "No, this pastor takes his tithe and he wrote scriptures that validate it. Pay your tithe to the priest." So he pays his tithe to Dr. Paul directly. So number one, Dr. Paul prays for him directly. What he does now is compel all his staff to pay tithe to him. Yeah, because if I'm paying to the priest, I'm the priest.
This is strategy.
Yeah, all his pastors formed as an agent. And because do you know most pastors can't pay even basic school fees for their children? I'm not joking. Pastors there. And I dare him. And one time when some pastors were I feel for them. I was in the system, I feel for them.
Because there is money, but yet they are very poor. The only person that is getting enriched
is GO.
Is the GO.
Is GO. One day, big guy.
He is. We know him.
I know him. At one point, he was even trying to know his investments. I know him. But he's not loud.
Yeah.
Origbo is loud. Origbo is loud. And so Dr. Paul needed that kind of platform. So, and of course, people do things that work for them. Access. You need access. When you said, my father in the Lord is Dr. Paul, David Origbo, when you hear that, is it David Origbo? The owner of this? Oh, come on. Access. So, for me, you don't share your temptation downward. You share your temptation upward. You share testimony downward. That is, if you are going through misfortune, you don't let your members know. You have to let your GO know.
No.
So it is when you have testimony you share with your members.
To encourage them.
To encourage them, but it has a whole lot of issue because your GO knows all your secrets already. So when you are trying to live, boy, you remember the other time you slept. I started rebelling. When I mean rebelling, I couldn't adapt to the system anymore. I was writing. One time I wrote, who was the next of kin of Jesus Christ? Why is it that families are dominating the church of God when it should be the church of God? I started writing that, and one day I got an hint that they have left. I'm not alleging that he's the one, but pastors that have left, that have died. Ayo, I remember Philip Abba, Patrick Ubeku, I remember Chris, I remember, it's because I didn't chronicle them.
All these pastors have died.
This is how the system works. When you leave, they need you to be struggling, to validate that you left a cover.
You've now been cursed.
You see, when our pastors may have said that, this one I heard from him. They say this guy left, he's struggling. You see, things are not working for him because he left the cover. And what they do, vulnerable wives. I remember one pastor, the wife came to ask for house rent. And what they do, they will tell you to come and see them after service. After service is when the church have closed and all of us will be walking, we'll see her, see a woman seated like, so, madam, she'll greet. Why are you here? Oh, I want to see daddy. I want to see daddy. So she will eventually see daddy. And later, you saw her, do you see that pastor's wife? She came to beg money for food. I'm not joking.
Money for food.
For food. So you now, oh boy, I don't go anywhere. Now here I die. Because the message will be like, if you leave, you will suffer the same thing. And that is why court is an understatement. When it comes to some of these Pentecostal pastors. When I this January kind of prayer. So we met and I told him, okay, I want to come back. I said, oh, so okay, that's good. And that everything you said about the church, I need to go and unsay it. Now, why will I talk right about the church? Am I bigger than Adeboye? You see, that mindset that some people have the key, the access code, the password. So they have that mindset. So how can somebody like me be talking about church reform? When
the bigger guys are not talking about it.
So he said, who are you? You talk about church reform. Who are you? The boy is there. Do you have evidence? What they call evidence is a car, the big auditorium. They don't understand that intellectual. You see, if I tell you've not heard anything, if I tell you things, you can't sit where you are seated. If you understand empathy about life, you can't. Paul and I just took me to prison. And whatever it is, can we settle this amicably? There's no need. Whatever you wrote, there's no substantial evidence at all. Can we settle out of police or out of court? He said, no, let my fate be determined by the judge. My brother, that day, I look at her, so wow.
That was what the wife said.
I'm not joking. Let your fate be determined by the judge. And you know, somehow, the same within a year, our father is my uncle. With great respect to him, he's late. He had the issue with EFCC. They paraded our own father for 20 million hillocks. 20 million.
You mean the father of the wife of
Becky and
Nature?
Yeah. You know, when I saw that news, some people sent it to me, say, see, what this woman, look at how she treated, and look at how her father has been treated. And I felt bad. Because her father is a professor and I love him so much. He's my uncle. I have great respect for him. But I'm telling you that sometimes when you don't have pity on people, there's a way life deals with you. Up there. And the reward is not compared to here. Oppression is easier.
So what you're saying is that the idea, the concept of God
Was created by man.
was a creation, a divine creation of the rich.
Yeah, to control the poor.
To keep the poor. Poor and loyal.
The poor will always be loyal with religion. The day the poor begin to understand who they are, not even having money, just know who you are, they will rebel.
My people, never let go of that final thoughts, because that's what I've been telling you all this while. You have to know this God yourself. Otherwise, this man will continue putting you in under them. No one will ever greater than them. They are evil. They have nothing to offer you. Could you believe that Wale Oke has kids outside his marriage? Nobody is talking about it. All these people, Becky Eneche and the husband, they came from a battered home, a very disgraceful background. And that's why you can't gain anything from them. All they will be dishing out will be evil, because that's their background. But because you refuse to know God for yourself, they will teach you. They will teach you rubbish, nonsense, and they will mishandle you because they don't see you as image of God. They just want you to be under. They just want you to be their slaves. Because they know for you to be under them, that means you don't even know God. That is what I learned from all these people. And that's why I've never stayed long there. Because it doesn't take that long to see the evil going on in these places. It's very glaring. My people, I don't like my video to be too long. I have a lot to say about all these men. This man have said a lot. Learn from his error, his own mistakes, and know God for yourself. There's no God in any of these places. I see you on my next video. Bye for now.